So hey everybody, welcome to my kitchen. Sandy here. Today we have a ton of peppers from the garden. So we are gonna make a legacy gem baked stuffed pepper recipe. I do not have a card for it in my recipe box. That's why it's a legacy gem. We're just gonna whip it up with what ingredients that we have here. And I'll take you through it. I have 1 pound of ground turkey. Of course, you can use ground beef, you can do meatball mix if you want to, but today I'm using some turkey. Very similar to the meatball recipe. All the ingredients we have for these stuffed peppers is going to be pretty much the same, with the exception of once we've got the meat all souped up with all those ingredients, we are going to add some cooked rice, which is in the rice cooker behind me cooking as we speak. The rice has to be room temperature before you add it to the meat because you don't want the hot rice to cook the meat. So we'll have to wait a little bit to do that, but I wanted to show you how to get the meat prepared. You will need some nice peppers. These are some purple peppers from the garden. I simply have halved them, cleaned them out, and I've got them in a baking dish with some olive oil on the bottom of the dish. They are waiting to be stuffed with this turkey. So basically all we need is a little bit of salt. I will put these ingredients in the description so you have them with the video. A little bit of pepper. Today I am using breadcrumbs that I actually made. They're fresh breadcrumbs, so I'm just going to start with a cup of breadcrumbs and we'll see how that goes. I have more here if we need it, so that's a half a cup. I have some onion, granulated onion. You can use onion powder. So about a tablespoon of that. Again, it's only a pound of meat here, so we're not going to go too crazy with the flavorings. And about a tablespoon of the granulated garlic. Again, you could use garlic powder if you like. So we got salt, pepper, onion, garlic. I have some fresh parsley here, so maybe about a nice tablespoon of freshly chopped parsley. Parsley came from the garden outside. And I have some grated Parmesan, Romano, whatever grated cheese you have. I'm going to do, let's say, about 3 heaping, maybe 4 heaping tablespoons of that to give these peppers some nice cheesy flavor. I lied, I'm going to put 5. All right. That's why it's a legacy gem. I kind of feel what I want to do, what I like to do. And the last thing we need is an egg, and I forgot to take out an egg, so I'm going to go grab one out of the fridge. Easier said than done, I guess. But let me just grab carton eggs here. I'll grab 1 egg. Now, it's a pound of meat. If you want to, you could put 2 eggs. And you know what? Maybe I'll do that. I don't really. Turkey meat is not real moist. So I think in my meatball recipe, I give you 1 egg for every half pound of meat. So I actually should do 2 eggs in here. All right, so I think I've got all our ingredients in there for the stuffed peppers. Like I said, we're waiting on the rice. So all I'm gonna do is I get this started with a fork to get the eggs kind of broken and mixed in. And now we're just gonna use our hands. We're gonna pull this all together and I'm gonna judge it to see if it needs more breadcrumbs or not. Sometimes, if you want to, as well with turkey, you can add a little olive oil into the meat. Maybe you'd prefer to do that rather than put in that extra egg with turkey. I kind of like the egg. It gives it a good binding because you're going to take this meat and you're going to be, laying it inside, stuffing those peppers with it. So I like the meat to have a good consistency when it bakes. These are baked peppers. I think this is a little wet, so I am going to add another quarter cup of these breadcrumbs. You can use, like I said, any kind of breadcrumb, but these are a little bit bigger, coarser breadcrumbs, I guess, because I made them by hand. Not that I'm always making breadcrumbs, fresh breadcrumbs, but I had a lot of bread at one point this summer, and I made the breadcrumbs, and they're really great. If you have a lot of leftover bread, why not? But panko breadcrumbs would be good in here too. They also have a coarser consistency as well. All right, so this is looking pretty good. It's still a little moist, probably a little moister than you would want a meatball to be. Not crazy moist, but we are going to be adding that rice, right, which is going to bind it even further. So right now, we're going to let this meat sit in the refrigerator. I'm going to cover it with some saran wrap so it doesn't dry out. I've got all my ingredients. I'm going to wait for that rice, bring them together, and then I will show you how I stuff those peppers and what the tomato sauce looks like that we're going to put over them and get them in the oven. And we'll talk a little bit more about how long they cook, and then we'll see the final product. So I will see you in a few for the next step. Hi there. So we have our cooled rice ready, which is here. Maybe about a cup is all we'll need in a pound of the ground turkey. Here's the turkey out of the refrigerator, so everything's cool. Remember, you don't want hot rice in the meat because that'll contaminate the meat. So please make sure of that. So I'm gonna put in about a cup of this rice. You can use white rice. This is a brown basmati rice. Really any rice you like. I wouldn't use a whole, wild grain rice or anything like that. That'll just overpower. But just mix that into the meat with your hands. The goal is to, just have a nice meat to rice combo. You don't want a lot of rice. You don't want it to be real starchy. You just want the rice to kind of round out the overall stuffed peppers, right? Because stuffed peppers is kind of like a one dish wonder, right? You have your meat, you have your rice, your tomato sauce. All you need from there is a piece of crusty bread and you're all set. Yeah, so just mix it in with your hands. I'm looking at it. To me, right now, might be hard for you to see, but I think I'd like it to have just a little bit more rice. So I'm gonna put a little bit more in. Not a lot more. Like I say, you don't want it to be too starchy. It shouldn't be anywhere near like 50-50. I mean, really, not even a quarter of this mixture should be starch. You can see, it's really pretty. Nice light color. It would be equally as good with like the darker meats, like I said, the ground beef or the meatball mix with a little veal and pork in there. It'd be also really delicious. Okay, so you simply take your half a pepper, take some of the meat mixture, and pop it in there. So now here with your stuffing the peppers, I'm not obviously going to stuff all of them that I have here on the video, but I just want to say that it's up to you how well you want to stuff these peppers, right? It has to do with how many peppers you have also, but how big a part do you want the pepper to play, right? If you are one that really doesn't like roasted peppers that much, you might want to have a lot more meat to pepper. When I was a kid, I used to pick the peppers out. I like the flavor of the pepper, but I did not like to eat the pepper. And I would just kind of peel it off and eat what was inside with the gravy that it made. But if you like the roasted pepper, and you want that to be, you know, pretty forward, which is we like. I don't, you know, fill the peppers as much with the meat. This way the meat extends more, and I have, you know, more stuffed peppers, and that pound of meat goes a lot farther. So this is a really simple process to get these stuffed. And once they're stuffed, once I have all of them stuffed, the next step is to add the tomato sauce and get them in the oven. So I will finish stuffing these peppers and come back to you, and I'll show you what the dish looks like before I put it in the oven, and get it going for tonight's dinner. See you in a few minutes. Bye-bye. So it's time to assemble the baked stuffed peppers and get them in the oven. So it's a relatively simple process. Whatever your favorite tomato sauce is, marinara sauce, whatever you happen to have on hand. You could get something out of a jar. Classico is really good. You put some sauce on the bottom of your baking dish. You put your peppers in. So our peppers are all nice and stuffed. You can see there's tomato sauce there on the bottom of the pan. And then you simply take your sauce and put a little on the top of each pepper. And now it's hard. These peppers are, you know, they don't stay flat very easily. So I may go in there while they're baking and baste them a little bit with the tomato sauce. This is a nice light sauce. And the peppers are just going to emit a lot of juice, as probably, I'm not so sure with the turkey, but the meat may as well. But we'll see. But there will be definitely sauce on the bottom of this pan. And then I'm taking a little bit of cheese and sprinkling it over each one. This is regular, you know, Parmesan macaroni cheese. Sprinkle it over each pepper. And then I'm going to bake them off. So I'm going to put them in at 350. I'm going to bake them for a half an hour, 30 minutes. And I may check them halfway through. Like I said, maybe baste them. And then at that point, if they're done, you know, that'll be it. If they're not, I'll leave them in a little longer. And if you wanted to gild the lily a little bit, you could pull them out and then put some mozzarella on top and let them go back in and finish off baking with the mozzarella so the mozzarella gets, you know, nice and bubbly and toasty. That is definitely gilding the lily because there's a lot of cheese inside the pepper, and also now I just put it on top as well. So that's it. I'll show you what they look like when they come out of the oven, and hopefully they're going to be a really delicious dinner for tonight. That's it for now, and I'll show you what they look like in a bit. Oh, and by the way, if you have any fresh herbs that you want to put on top, now would be the time. So I just sprinkled a little bit of the fresh parsley that I had earlier today. You could put basil, you could put oregano if you had it. You can just do that over the top, and it makes the dish look nice and adds a little extra flavor too. So yes, add fresh herbs if you have them. Okay, here they are, fresh out of the oven. Baked turkey stuffed peppers. They look delicious. Hope everybody enjoyed the recipe, and hopefully you'll be making these soon and putting your own flair on this legacy gem. Take care, everybody. See you again soon. Bye.